Man, I love the PlayStation Vita. That is surely the only console I'll ever need.
Buy the new Nintendo Wii. Buy, consume.
The Nintendo Wii? Ah, man, I don't want to play games like Mario Galaxy and Wii Sports. I'm happy with my RPGs on the Vita.
The Nintendo Wii also has RPGs.
What? Really?
Yes.
What the fuck? You know what? I actually got a physical letter from someone saying they don't like me doing all these referential humor in my videos. You know, when I show some obscure Simpsons clip.
Your wife's butt is higher than my wife's butt. You make me sick.
So what, you want me to just read the Wikipedia articles on the games with no jokes? Is that what you want? In 2006, there was a FIFA World Cup in Germany, which was a shocking time because for only the second time in their footballing history, Australia made the playoffs. And what was more shocking was that Australia is a land that's far away from the rest of the world. About 14,000 kilometers from the USA, which is over 9,000 miles. And in the same year, right in the USA, a little known show aired called Hannah Montana. People laughing uncontrollably watching her live, having to balance the pressures of school with the pressures of being a super megastar music singer. And like they say, reality is stranger than fiction. Because in a similar way, Miley Cyrus, the actress, seemed like she couldn't handle the stress and fame and would lash out in very unpredictable ways. And it was reported that for her to relax, she would go home, turn on her espresso machine, put on a onesie, and play Super Mario 3D World on the Nintendo Wii U, a sequel to the Nintendo.
Wait, what's all this Wii stuff?
And that console was crazy for gamers where it ushered a wave of new people who didn't really vibe with games before. Now everyone was jumping up and down, breaking their TVs, playing sports, and publishers capitalized on it, converting their franchises to fit the mold. But in reality, especially in Australia, all you saw in that pre-internet era on magazines and TV commercials, the games you saw and knew that were on the Nintendo Wii were usually the first party ones. You know, you have a Mario, a different kind of Mario, and Wii Sports. And so I got to thinking, wait, I like RPGs now. Did the Wii, for how many it sold, not have any? And that was the goal, to find out Nintendo's Wii library and get a vibe, a taste of the games, to jump around and find a game that I would gel with or experience and never recover from. And I won't be talking about the well-known Wii games like the Fire Emblem or Tales of series, or even the big three from Operation Rainfall, where in 2011 there was a fan campaign to help bring localization of Japanese games for the Wii. Even back then, people were wanting more RPGs on the Wii. And those three are fairly well known now: Xenoblade 1, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower. I might want to make a video on the last two, but since they are pretty well known, I thought to save them for their own dedicated one. So with that, we have the remaining ones. And trust me, there are not that many left. And so what prestigious quality can we expect from weird and strange Nintendo Wii RPGs?
I don't want to die.
Oh.
Help me, Mr.
Rise Fantasia is kind of a crazy RPG in that half of the world didn't even know it existed, with it only being released in Japan and the country with a really big canyon, with then even more people not beating it because the dub was so bad good. Yeah.
Hey, Prince Elf and Mr. Lark, I heard you were killed hunting fell dragons.
And I just shake my head as someone who loves cringe dubs like this when there exists a game with the worst dub ever.
Speak English?
Oh, okay. This is too much for you? That you actually need an undubbed patch where they remove the English voice acting from the Western version just because this guy goes,
Mr. Lark, where are you going?
why do people never want funny voice lines in their video games?
Hey, no, stop, just calm down.
And with such a reputation, I couldn't wait. As yeah, I played this months ago and was gonna title the video on it like Nintendo's worst acted video game. But then I pivoted on that idea because it's not that bad. Yet online you'll find so many people lamenting its quality, it became a so bad it's good type of game. And as a connoisseur of that genre, I had to try it. Yes, this is a new genre of video games that I'm calling Oscar-worthy performances.
Come on, we're going. Eh? Me too?
Of course you two. Now move it.
But yes, the other draw was that it was a Nintendo Wii RPG made by people who were very familiar with that genre, which I didn't even know until afterwards that it had a lot of the Tales of series staff working on it, as the people at Image POC were actually approached by Nintendo, who went, "Bro, we need some more RPGs on this Wii Sports machine. Please make us some!" And the devs wanted to make it for hardcore RPG fans, and over 3 years, assembled people from different studios to sort of freelance for them. Like how One Punch Man Season 1 was just that good, because one guy called all his industry studio friends to work on it, and then they didn't do that for Season 2, which turned out... So even when you see a studio's name on the box, it doesn't mean it will feel like other games from the studio. It's all about the people working there, and boy howdy, this really almost feels like a Tales of game. So having hardcore JRPG devs and them wanting to make it hardcore was a good sign. The other sign, though, was that they were making a hardcore RPG on the Nintendo Wii. You know, the system where this was the norm. And it debuted very poorly. But they were ambitious. They wanted to make you cry, aiming to emulate Code Geass, which did make me cry. For how bad it was after it was so good. Why did you ruin the potential? And they even got the Eureka 7 character designer, who has a really unique art style to design Scrimblow here. Then you got the enemy designs by Etrian Odyssey, battle mechanics by Shadowbringers. It was turning out to be an actual peak game for hardcore RPG fans, who had to dust off their Wii to play this. And only if you're in America. When the rest of the world asked can they buy this game, the publisher went,
Wii? There is no Wii.
And due to this, I'm emulating. Because yeah, it never released here. The eShop is also down, so I can't even buy it digitally. And if I wanted to buy that copy, the Wii is region locked, meaning I have to buy an American Wii. And I'm sorry, I don't like it kind of consoles. By which I mean they're very expensive. And starting it up. Well, this game actually made me realize, for years with my terrible TV, I had the brightness on too high and would actually get eye strain staring at it. So then this extremely bright colored game comes along and made me realize, oh, it was my TV's fault too, that my eyes were hurting, so I should lower the brightness, and thus the game helped me fix my vision pain. So... thank you!
Really?
But yes, this game is actually pretty playable without the motion controls, releasing in 2010, so it was around the time where people were growing bored of the gimmicks and needed to move on. Which is amusing that you had to buy a gimmicky console to play this, and then you wouldn't even need the motion controls! And even with that, it sold extremely poorly, with them citing having to compete against Nintendo's first-party titles as the blame. Bro, Nintendo asked you to be on their platform. I don't know what you were expecting. See it compete against Mario Galaxy. And the dub, which a lot of people criticized, was actually called as on par as Final Fantasy's one. And they used a Japanese-based company to localize the game. Yes, a Japanese studio in Japan in 2010 were the ones paid to translate the Japanese language into English. Which is then amusing checking their history, as that was one of their first projects, and yet now they seem to be very successful translating Western games into Japanese. But was it really that bad of a dub?
The man who uses law to bring understanding to the world. That's you, Lark!
Okay, so starting it up, and only for this game, for this video, I decided to download a HD texture pack, which changed the logo.
You've got some attitude, mister.
So our name is Lark, or Le-Ark. Le-Ark! What the heck does that mean? Oh! And we are fighting fell dragons for the Imperial Army, and despite losing in the fight, we win in the cutscene? Hey, hang on, don't JRPGs do it the other way? So falling down with the dragon as it's about to explode, but then... Rithia sings the fell dragon away.
People die and Yuna dances.
But that wasn't magic, was it? Him magic, perhaps? Surely not. Are you a coder?
Well, I don't see the striped thigh-high socks, so I doubt it.
What's a girl doing out here?
Girl? Are you talking about me?
Well, yeah, I don't know your name. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm Lark, and you are...
Rude? What is rude?
What?
I thought you were going to call me girl. Do you call everyone girl?
Well, what kind of a weirdo are you?
A weirdo? A derogatory term for...
Okay, so 8 minutes in and I can see now why a lot of people would drop this game or undub it. It can be a lot.
Oh dear. Are you angry?
When you're promised the most hardcore RPG, and
No,
this is
but
what
I'm
you see
getting
in a time
annoyed.
shorter than a SpongeBob episode.
A group that works together.
Why is this
Divide
sprite
the
so
actions
sassy? So the gameplay is a type of RPG. You got little connected worlds and hallways in between, with enemies in the overworld and turn-based gameplay. But it is very different in that you got these rounds, and you can confirm all your team's actions at once before you then see them all attack in that round. You have this AP bar, which each move costs some amount of that, and in fact, you can have it so Lark uses all the team's AP points in that one round, so say doing 3 hits that cost this much, and Rifia won't get to attack that round. And you can see the enemy's turn order here, and the AP bar will refill up each round by this number, so you can't just spam the same moves over and over again, because in the next turn, you might not get full AP. Why would you leave Rifia out of this? When she says this after attacking?
So sorry.
Now, one thing that makes you know that this was made by the Tales of team, it's got skits. A whole lot of them. The way you get these optional places, you can get more lore if you press the button. However, this ain't voice, which can be good or bad depending on your ears.
Strange. It's sunny, but it's raining.
The devil must be beating his wife.
Who? Beating his what?
And we head to town.
Let's get you to an inn.
Inn? What's an inn?
So Rifia seems to not know a lot of things, and a lot of the jokes in this game comes about from her not understanding what you're saying.
You mean the gems found on fell dragons?
Doesn't everyone have one?
That might be normal in your country, but it's definitely not normal here.
And yeah, these towns are little zones that you can run around in, like other JRPGs, where some NPCs have more than one line of dialogue, but not all of them. So you don't know which ones you need to talk to multiple times. So you end up just mashing away to find out any of the NPCs that you can learn more about the lore. And even then, you can actually find items in the overworld, which is so rare, and you do need them because I need my mid-liquid, as you will be using a lot of items to heal. So to find them, you have to mash A on the environment. No indicators here, no indicators on the important NPCs. It's very odd design, making you run around the town a lot more than needed. As we meet Alf, who is the prince, and he ran all the way from the throne, all the way down here, just because we were missing. Huh. Friend, you say? To shreds, you say? And Rifia's goal is to follow her mother's dying wish to go to Jada. She's from the Republic country, and Jada is where the Imperial's country holds their key energy reserve. And so this is like, oh, no, wait, we're bringing you to our secret key military point.
I'll go there by myself.
Okay then. So yeah, the law of the land is like it's split into Empire, the Republic, and Olkinia, who control the land's energy supply called Ray.
Ray? What is that?
And all three worship this god Issa, but they have different ways of supporting them. The diva then is someone who has magical powers based on song, and now these evil fell dragons have started appearing.
I'm a diva.
You sure are. So in Jada, the Empire has a rogue rest that gives them some ray supply, since Olkinia is kind of hogging the whole thing, and rogue rests are ancestors of the god Issa, so it's a very dangerous thing trying to hold one of them contained. So now with Alf, we head to Jada, where we have this other mechanic on the weapons, where each of them has a Tetris block. Well, you unlock these pieces as you level up, and then you can slot these little things you unlock onto any other weapon that you want. And if you then fill out a Tetris board, you can unlock that weapon's super special skill. So it's like, cool, I'm getting a world record on Tetris. But then to get the full potential, you have to use a lot of bad weapons, a lot, just to unlock all of their skills off the board, to then use them on better weapons. And then in addition to that, you have orbs for magic, where any character you equip them this elemental orb, meaning you can use that type of magic. And then if you combine 2 of them, you can use more magic, like say light or dark spells. Or if you say use 2 fire orbs, you can use stronger fire orbs. And then in addition to that, you got to buy MP charges for your orbs to even use the spells in combat, which I didn't realize it made it so much harder to heal. I'm so overwhelmed. This is a lot to take in for any RPG, and imagine if this was a Wii exclusive. Oh wait, it is! And so in addition to the dub and now the hardcore gameplay mechanics, I cannot see this appealing to the casual Wii crowd. But it was appealing to me because of these goofy idiots.
The Republic? No way!
No way?
It's another way to say, can it really be true?
Oh, I see. Yes way.
10 out of 10 comedian here. So this is Nico, a cowardly soldier who is probably the best voice acting in the game.
Monsters! They're swarming the town!
I swear the audio here is like they're recording over Let's Plays in 2016 while their parents are downstairs, so they don't want to be overheard. Oh wait, this is unlocking a memory.
Alright, welcome back to Play That Game, where we are on, I think, episode 4 of Valhalla.
So now monsters are attacking and you learn 2 new things. Well, 3 in addition to managing all this. You can now move on the battlefield to reposition allies to help them run away from the enemy's range before they get their turn. As you use SP to do the spells, which you regain over time, but it's very annoying when you got spells, say with Rifia, who has a super magic diva. She can revive people, which uses a lot of SP. So then you don't often get enough on the next turn to use, but it recovers very slowly, so you will rarely get to use revive. And then the healing items are like finding needles in a haystack on a 480p screen stretched out to a 50-inch monitor. So let's just say, if you wanted a challenging RPG on the Wii,
here you go.
I do love a lot about the presentation where you got things like NPCs having idle animations, characters actually yelling out in combat to warn you what the enemy is doing in a big attack. You know, if you undub the game, you kind of miss out on that. And even between towns in all the RPGs you see when you're traveling, it's zoomed out and you get this chibi form and some random encounters. I love that so much here. The world is actually detailed and you can see the enemies to avoid them if you choose to do so. Now the leader of the enemies is this guy who killed Rifia's mother, and we got the first boss fight, which took me 25 minutes to do, and I had to use save states, as if this game is very unforgiving with saves. As in dungeons, if you die, you have to redo the whole entire dungeon, because there's no saves or checkpoints in between. But yeah, the boss will do so much damage to you, even though we outnumber him. They will have multiple turns in a round, and you barely have any heals, barely any items, so yes, you'll be dying a lot. But we win!
Who the heck is this guy? You really think you could beat me that easily? I was merely playing with you.
Ah! Help me! I don't want to die! Help me, Mr. Lark!
So Nico runs off and we run into the tower to escape, where we find the Rogress Simmer, and Lark resonates with it with a big old smooch too. And Simmer fuses into us, and now we have a one-time super OP battle attack. And then have to fight that guy again for 20 minutes, and then he's gone. But you know, the consequence of having Simmer fuse into us is bad for the Empire now, as all the remaining race supply is gone. And for such a crime, we get arrested.
Tell me, Rifia, can we bring Simma back?
No, it doesn't work that way.
No way.
Yes way.
So the arrestor is Alp's brother. Assassins really do love aiming for that ear, huh? So Kenya isn't giving up their race sucking in the land, so Wise here orders us to go and stop them and, you know, give him some of that sweet, sweet Ray as our punishment.
I never dreamed that you would bring a disgusting North Noiris diva here with you.
Vice, where are your manners?
And so in this city, which is very big, it was very fun to explore, feeling much like a Tales game. Yet I really wish the NPCs were voiced, because the voice acting in this game is very special to me.
This place ain't no good for ya. We's gonna go someplace quieter. We have to help them. I can't stand women.
Fine, fine. Blah, blah. I've heard about bandits kidnapping women to sell later.
Just gonna drop that in a Wii game, huh? I think these last 2 videos really opened my mind on Nintendo. They didn't care much about their family-friendly image on this console. Let Mario swear, come on! So we head back home to tell our green-haired mother that we got arrested, and to meet up with our old master. Also, there's this guild where you can do some side quests.
Aren't I allowed to be here? I want to sleep with you, Lark.
What?
Of course there are. And so we meet our famed fighting master.
What's this? What are you doing with my lovely granddaughter? Insolent whelp!
Oh my god. Where did you get that jacket? And this Wii game is very surprising, because it's just hilarious that this is probably one of the most challenging RPGs out there, which is good. More power to you if you like this kind of thing and want time to get better at a game. You know, you keep dying, you keep retrying, learning new strategies. But when you're making a Wii exclusive game 3 years into the console's lifespan, and you'd made this over the course of 3 years, which is a long time for games back then, your development time, and then you see the type of people who are buying the Wiis over that time and what they are playing, is there any surprise to the sales of this? But I think now in the internet age, more people might know about this game and maybe give it a try if it's interesting to you. There is an actual challenge. It's a different gameplay setting to most RPGs, but there's no grim dark setting. It's very anime and bright, which probably doesn't help the tone when you think, oh, it's a cheerful, relaxing game. Why is he hit so hard? And I don't know, the story was interesting a little bit. The characters were sort of likable in that 2000s anime charm dub kind of way, and the gameplay was extremely challenging in a good way that I wanted to get better at it, but I don't know. There was just something missing, like some spark, some little spice that would make me want to continue playing. But I can't stress, I really do enjoy the dub.
Well, we can.
Piece of cake.
That's called a piece of cake, right?
Ready for
But with it being an on average 40-hour game to beat, I think this is a game you really need to set that time aside for it. Because of that challenge though, when you complete it, it feels so good. Okay, while editing this, I found out something about the game that makes me really want to play it. So, if this video does well, maybe I'll come back to it sometime down the line. I swear you won't believe what the thing is. But say you wanted that challenge, but now with the grimdark setting. Why? This console wouldn't do that to you, right?
Forgive my sins.
Ah. Man, the Wii keeps surprising me, huh? Wait, why is my Wii that color? Baroque is one of the most frustrating games to play, and also a type of art that was on the Sega Saturn before being ported to the PS1, and now the PS2 and Wii, and iOS, and Nintendo Switch. Not really a niche game, huh? Originally conceived on the PC-98. Ah, no, not that again! It's a roguelike RPG on the Nintendo Wii, with no motion controls needed, and the characters talk like this.
Don't hit me! Just anything but that right now.
It was made by Sting Entertainment in 1998 with the Wii game in 2008, and they are well known for...
You seriously think you can beat us? Lon, Bert, Neptune. Well, yeah!
And I literally knew nothing about it, so I thought, oh, okay. Confusing anime introduction? Check. What difficulty should I do? Well, I'm pretending to be the target demographic. You know, casual Wii players who bought Baroque in 2008, I gotta try it on easy mode. And then it just cuts to this scene with the most jargon of jargons. That is sure a way to open a game. And then it plops you into the world where you meet...
Picking up items is my hobby. Though I can only hold 5 items.
What? Who said that?
Yep, so you have this hub area where people are like this. And you can punch all of them.
I'll get angry.
Also punch some fish. Then this boy band ass angel is like, take this gun and enter the tower. Find me inside. Okay, buddy. But how do I even play this game? I see this weapon here. I don't know how to use it. B still punches. So there's a C on top of it. And I press that and he chucks it away. My gun is gone. Now what? So I punch things, find the portal and go down a floor to then...
Who will disappear?
Then I pick up some stuff and realize, you can equip things. And then I got a sword that decimates things. And then...
Forgive my sins.
And then I reach the end of the tower and find this thing. And NSYNC tells me to shoot them. So I do that with the gun I found again, because I guess it's pretty easy to find these guns, and get this cutscene.
Prolactin decreasing.
Then I wind back up in the hub world.
You should have already learned what you must do. You understand, don't you? What you must do?
I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
So, yeah. If you played games like, I don't know, Bob the Builder on the Wii, you would find a compelling RPG. But if you played Hades, it's a roguelike RPG where you go into randomly generated floors getting more loot and buffs until you die, but then you get more lore and story and you gotta keep trying again and again, getting a good run to eventually beat the game. As death actually does help you progress because you learn more about the world and characters that you care about. So Baroque is like that, but now on the Nintendo Wii in 2008 with no motion controls. I mean, it does have a theme. The 3D models are pretty generic, but I do vibe with the atmosphere and the red world outside. The designs are very memorable, from the NPCs to the enemies, which have got statues, wheelie things, and just sharks. And the dungeons do look distinct on most of the floors. The music is very catchy. As you'll start a tower run empty, you got your fists, and you have your health and stamina, where health regens if you have some stamina, but if it's empty, you will lose some health. And stamina depletes over time, so you got to find items to heal both of them. And then there's weapons and armor and other items you can equip, or you can put traps down or things like that to give you other buffs. And on easy, enemies die pretty easily to your sword. I even got this fire sword that destroyed enemies later on, and yet you're meant to die to get more story. And then the story is like this.
Simulation remain residually? He'll think it's just a prophetic dream.
So yeah, it's a game where these depressing worlds and characters have to either win you over or not at the start, for you to even care to do this over and over again. Like, just compare how Hades starts off. You have a text intro, then you start the run right away, knowing you're trying to escape. You learn the gameplay is actually fun, then you naturally die because it's a bit hard, and then you meet all these characters and learn more about the world and lore. To how Baroque starts, where you got an anime cutscene where you don't know what's happening, then these two spouting off these words that don't mean anything to you, and they just popped right in talking to these people. I mean, even in the gameplay, they could have just added a dodge button. I mean, something, so you're not just mashing B. Something to make the gameplay enjoyable, to also help balance out wanting to know more about the lore. You can't just have one or the other. And the story, there was something about you causing the end of the world, and you're doing these runs over and over to try and reset the world to fix it, and you ain't even a priest, so that's not going to be fun. So yeah, it's not really my thing. It is by far, though, a very unique game for 2008 on this thing. I can't imagine you just jumping from Mario Galaxy into this, but when gameplay is just mashing B over and over, you have no real challenge on easy mode. And it took me like 30 minutes to realize if you press 2, you can open the map on screen, which made this game even easier, as before I was just running around with no idea where to go, but I guess that was some challenge. Now I just know, oh, okay, I've been here, I can just find the exit, you know? And then you do this and you randomly walk into rooms with the NPCs who talk about some weird stuff about the world, while you can still take damage. And then a cutscene like this happens.
You don't remember? Oh, God. It was just a game to you? I see. So you were playing? Unbelievable. Not suffering anymore, but... Why didn't you hold on?
Then you have the enemies that will steal your items. Bro! Just take it, man. Why am I wasting my time fighting then? You do level up, but the weapons seem to be doing the most damage anyway, and the levels reset when you finish a tower. So why not just run past everything? And I did that. Even there was this enemy that gave me lust, which turned me into this, and I couldn't attack. Oh, okay, so you don't even want me to fight. And then I reached the end of this tower run, and the Backstreet Boy goes, okay, find the consciousness orb. Oh, you mean this orb on the same floor? No, that's not the orb, even though it looks like an orb. The orb you're talking about is the one you're impaled on? That orb? I swear to God. And I thought maybe it's because I'm playing on easy mode. Maybe on hard mode. There's some actual point to this gameplay. No, hard mode enemies just hit harder, but you can also easily run past them, go through all the levels, and you get the same story. And even then, dying, which you will because on hard mode they kill you pretty easily, you still get more story because you're completing the runs. The game is just like a visual novel, huh? You press one button, being the forward on the control stick, and then you get some story. But then, if you don't vibe with said story, the gameplay ain't gonna win you over. I do understand it has its own crowd, so I'm not hating on it. And I'm sure there's some real crazy twists later on, and I'm also sure there's some other mechanics where maybe you have to find some specific items and do some certain things to get the proper story. But for this kind of video, I don't think what I saw from this moment, me just running through like a speedrun just to hear the characters go.
What happened to my memories? Why is there only guilt? What am I doing?
Was enough for me to keep playing. It's kind of amusing looking into this as the founder of Sting really can sing. Wanted to make darker games after making so many this kind, and he finally got to try it out. But then it's kind of sad for me because he loves Blade Runner, which is said to be one of the inspirations for the world and story. But then you play the game and you have characters reacting to you punching them. Like, there's some tonal shift here. When you make a dark game and then you port it to the most family-friendly console, and then you're making a top-down shooter spin-off and a typing game spin-off and a first-person shooter for phones? At least the Wii game has playable gameplay, because when I see the PS1 version, oh boy, that sure looks fun. Wow, these sure were some strange Wii RPGs, but nothing has vibed with me. Man, I sure hope the next game fixes that, something that appeals to me.
The Macho Gamer.
I think I got all balled up at that last crossroad.
Oh no. Is that Laura Bailey doing a Texan accent? I know! So I am aware of Sakura Wars in the same way I am aware of Calzones. It's a thing I think I would like, but I haven't yet tried. I was excited for that reboot in 2019 till they weren't gonna dub it, so I never bothered. But this is very dope!
So you're a samurai!
Now I won't go too much into this since it actually was a PS2 game in Japan. Then they ported it to the Wii for America, being NIS America's biggest work at the time. It sold very, very badly. The Wii version was ported not by Sega, but by Idea Factory? Am I gonna have to make a video on Neptunia to get this curse off of me? Leave me alone! And yes, it does have motion controls. So Sakura Wars, all I know about it is you got mech combat and dating. A whole lot of it. Yeah, I know nothing else about it.
You're a tourist. It would do you well to remember.
Yes, I know that, okay? So we open up and, man, this music is so good. With some sleek menus. And then seeing our character Shinjiro. He's got many earlines, and he talks.
Tokyo. And
This is the only time he talks in the entire game. As yep, the game is mostly anime stills with mouth flaps moving, and you're the only non-voice character. Steins Gate Elite, what have you done? You shall never be forgiven! And it's really so jarring to listen to the other characters' audio, you know, you're relaxing in your chair, just listening to them speak. Then boom, you have to move your eyes down suddenly to read your lines. Like, don't make me read, please! And then we get time-based responses. So yeah, Shinjiro joins like the Japanese Navy, but then he gets whisked away to New York's division. Wait, but how can Japan have a New York division?
This is New York City. This is the place that I've sworn to protect with my—
So the redhead comes in to kill these bank robbers with a samurai sword.
Don't worry, they're still alive.
Oh, okay. And we tell her something important. I guess that's the good answer, as yeah, depending on these, you get more points with the characters I guess you date. And sometimes if they're all present there, your answers will win favor with some, and not with others. And I also really have no idea what this place is. I'm sure if you're a Sakura Wars fan, you know, but they really don't do a good job explaining. Like, we were in the Navy, yet we are now in New York with our boss.
Ah, konbanwa, konnichiwa, and Ohio.
What is our job? And most people here put on a dance show? Is that like a cover for the people working here?
Are you familiar with harakiri? That's the quick way out. Here in America, you are expected to live with your mistakes.
And so we leave him at the redhead now without the mask, and we do not put the two together that she's the same person. Despite the mask girl riding a horse, and this girl has a horse in her apartment room.
Japan, huh? Yeah, I can see it. You definitely got an oriental air.
Laura, please, I know you hate doing anime roles now, but please don't let this affect your decision. And now the game just gives up on voice acting. I mean, this was 2010, so I can understand the games are having the budget to do full voice acting, also with the Wii's disc size. I guess big games like JRPG, it's harder to have all the lines in there. So we head to our apartment and...
I'm gonna teach you all kinds.
Can I play the game now? Oh, finally! That's all you do? So yeah, a lot of the game is the visual novel. You have some interactions with the talking, and you can also do some unique things like getting this girl's attention. If you raise this bar, you will yell in the library. Then you finally got Wii motion gameplay. Oh, Shinjiro, what are you doing? And yep, you cannot skip any of this, and I kid you not, after over an hour, you finally reach actual gameplay, where this rabbit girl is attacking the Statue of Liberty, and you have to finally use the mechs, where they explain it a bit too much in detail, and oh, okay, it's just a tactics game, you know, the like. You know, you got a set amount of movement each turn, then with that remaining bar, you can press A to attack for each of them, and then I'm stuck. Yep, nothing I can do. I pressed every single button. Motion doesn't do anything. Great. So, yeah, I think I'll move on. It also was irritating in that you couldn't lower the music at all, so you could barely hear the voice acting. But I will give it props. The music is insanely catchy. And then I learned the composer went to Berkeley? That's like American School, all those TV shows I watch, they say. And he composed the JoJo theme and Gravity Rush. Okay, this game was a great find. But now, alright, I haven't shown any proper Wii games. Most have functioned fine without motion controls, but that will all change with one of the biggest names in Japan. Yes, Dragon Quest on the Wii. Oh boy. So Dragon Quest is probably the biggest game franchise in Japan, where it's a huge phenomenon every time the game releases. But I don't know, I've never even heard about this game. And yet, it is one of the only ones on the list to actually feature motion controls and actually use them. And yes, this isn't a video where I emulate everything. I gotta have the real deal. Plus, they always go up in value, right? Right? Isn't this how stocks work?
Don't grow bright. Oh, yeah.
Dragon Quest Swords is a very good name for a Wii game. Wait, no, that's not the name of this game. It's Dragon Quest Swords, the Masked Queen, and the Tower of Mirrors. It was developed by Genius Sonority, you know, the Pokemon Coliseum people, and Eighting, who made light gun games, so it's kind of fitting for a first-person Dragon Quest. And they more recently were making the new Nintendo Sports. Oh no, not the whole thing. They just made the basketball DLC. Interesting track record. It was released in 2007, one of the earliest games on this list, so you know they were riding that motion control high. Swinging the sword to whack monsters, and it was actually meant to be a launch title, and they wanted to tackle the growing normie market by making their arms hurt. I hope this true RPG and not just some little slashing adventure game. Oh, Goku, I feel so sorry for you. And don't worry, we'll get to the Final Fantasy's exclusive game later in the video. For Dragon Quest, the stories are a bit more easier to digest, you know. No one is murdering people like other RPGs. You, of course, have the amazing art style by Akira Toriyama, except, why is he staring at me like that? And starting up, you got full motion controls where left-handed people are real? I knew it! And we start in a training dojo with that low-res FIFA crowd. The Wii, we love ya! It's pretty cool though that the characters' face models have the sprite changes for their emotions, but it feels like they were also motion captured for a lot of it. As you learn the combat where it's in first person and you swing the sword to attack, and you can press A to target an area and swing, or just swing wildly, and they have to stress that you have to have the Wii mode facing up. You can do up, down, sideways, diagonal, the cha-cha, and stab, which I completely forgot was a thing. Because I'm sorry, that's not a natural action for me. And you hold B to bring up your shield to block and move it about to block the enemy's magic, and then when this bar is full, you get a super anime move doing the motion, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The enemies will come in lots of varieties, moving on screen, shooting first then charging, shooting arrows you have to deflect by swiping, hitting them in specific spots to do more damage. It really does feel like a Wii launch title. Had optimism in every game that they would have this level of interactivity, because that's what Grandma wanted, up to some Wii bowling, to swing swords to attack a slime. So you learn the land was saved by your dad, so there's no real villain in the game.
Claymore, being one of the famous warriors, what defeated Zyphos, the Deathbringer!
Is that right? Oh, maybe this is the big bad. Now guess what type of noise he's gonna make. Whoa! I was so wrong! And you have this hub city where you can buy things. I was even shocked you can buff up weapons. And you got the old save at the church too. But oh man, this game is slow! Where it has to show every animation, chest opening, closing, door opening. Even when you can see the whole world, you still have to load like going up these stairs. I can see you moving in the loading, so why does it have to load? It takes forever to do things. You can't skip text or cutscenes, and character voices are very well done in that British voice actors type of thing where they don't do any other games except these ones. Although the French girl is Siri from Witcher. But they are very British.
I trust all is tickety-boo. What to do? What to do?
What to do?
So now we are 16 years old and we have to do a trial to become a man and clear a dungeon. You know, typical British coming of age things. While in the castle, you move about with the D-pad. Why? Yep, nunchuck, we cast ye into hell. This is a Wiimote game, brother. Where you use it to move forward and turn left and right, then you hold B to run. I mean, I got used to it, but it was so amusing how so many of these early games didn't use the nunchuck because I guess more casual players wouldn't own one. And outside you can't turn, it's just forward and back, where at the set points you will fight enemies as they come in little waves, and you got money and experience for each one you defeat. You also do get choices on which pathway to take, and I learned you can actually go down dead ends and then it will teleport you back to that choice. So we reach the end, which is the boss, and they have a set routine, block their attacks, then you swing to do big damage, and repeat. Once done, we meet the prince.
Did you see her mask?
Stop flipping your hair, please! He is missing his mother, the queen, so we have to go help him, and he'll join us in combat, but he rarely does anything on his own. You can manually use these spells like this OP fire one, while he just pops his head in. And we find the queen, who seems to be acting odd. And then this girl...
Well, oui.
So yeah, while this was the most Wii of the Wii games, I don't know, it's such a straightforward story and no real big evil danger so far, and how slow it was, and how much swiping you have to do in combat, I don't think I'll be continuing this. I really do appreciate how I wasn't hating the motion controls, it was more the story, where everything is so prim and proper, none of the characters have any issues or flaws, they're all perfect, voice acting is too good, there's no real conflict so far, so there's no real incentive to keep going, when you know most of the gameplay is just like this. They do change up the bosses where you got this golem and you got to block like you're boxing Miku, but yeah, I think with Dragon Quest at least, it was a hard sell to have an edgy type of game like Baroque on the most family-friendly consoles. This was always going to be a perfect game for the system, showing off the motion and being family-friendly enough for anyone to play. And of course, it sold crazy good in Japan, being a Wii Dragon Quest exclusive. But from that big franchise to a game I didn't even know was a real game. Who's even heard of this? Oh my god, they are so round. Opoona is a video game. Can I move on now? Look, I had no idea what to expect from this game. It was designed to be very family friendly, and by the people who remade Super Mario RPG. I started up and it's got incredibly fast text telling you about the world of Fantasia, and how there's evil in the galaxy, and on this planet Landroll, a meteor is hit, and half of the people are going through a phase where they play Shadow the Hedgehog. And you are Opoona. That wasn't me swearing at you. Seriously, I know it's a Japanese mix of words, but you can't have that for English speakers. When three of those letters together mean funny words for kids. They ain't gonna ask their parents for this. And then it asked me for the nunchuck. Nunchuck? I hardly knew her. As yes, you can play the entire game with the nunchuck only. Of course, it needs to still be connected to the Wiimote, but it was designed to be able to be played while you're eating dinner. Devs really thought highly of the sales they were gonna get. And they designed Opoona after the devs got out of the bath and he drew it in the mirror. Hee hee. Not hee hee. So Opoona and his siblings Pal Luna and Opoona, oh my god, why are they doing this to me? Are on a family vacation from Fantasia to Landroll. And this is a very rich family because... why do you have so many dogs? Where the ship gets attacked and the dad just gets stuck in the door and they throw the kids into the escape hatch, and then 3 days later you wake up on Landroll and hear that your parents are okay, but the people here go, no time for that, you gotta work. Okay, I get it. Capitalism, don't see my parents work. And then the music is so futuristic and the mood is so MSN. It's very Fruitager era, yes I looked up the word for the video, where people vibe with the aesthetic of Windows Vista. It's the thing millennials are drawn towards to distract ourselves from not owning houses. You know, MSN and the like, and the game is very much that. There's no voice acting, a lot of text, and you got your art style, then you got the art style of the NPCs, which is very different, but it's pretty cool. Then you got this anime dude. So much style clash. Gameplay is real-time combat where in random battles you gotta pull back the control stick to fling your ball that's on your head to attack enemies. The longer you hold it, the more damage it does, but after this you then have to wait for the number to go back up to 100 to then attack again. And you cannot do anything in the meantime. You're frozen still. So the enemies can just jump you. This is such a bizarre gameplay system. As, oh look, he's coming right at me. Oh god, I gotta recharge. Of course I'm gonna take damage. And it's like you're in this hub world where you have to go through separate elevators for each floor, and then you follow the NPCs. I hope you're enjoying the vibes because you cannot skip this. And then you open your menu and you see so many things and you got all these jobs to do. You can get money and you can put it in the bank to get interest. This is your profile picture for the app. You have friends on it. But then they tell me to go out and defeat 10 monsters. Okay, I do that. Now go get 5 eggs. Like from the same area, or did a new zone unlock? Because I'm new here and this place is very big and confusing. Hello? Anyone there? Okay, a guide I found says to go back to the same area, and you find them in these boxes with the final egg in this beehive, where you go in, and the guide says take out the bees first before attacking the hive. Oh, okay, I'll do that. Do I get to breathe first? Yep, no matter what I did, since I have to wait for this number to get to 100, I cannot get a chance to do another attack. You can heal and use magic or item, but only when this is 100, and the bees won't let me. Not the bees! This easily has to be the most strangest game for this video. You have a game perfectly made for the Wii demographic, very family friendly, no cringe dub to scare people off, one-handed gameplay for more accessibility, but then a name like this, there's no real direction on where to go or what to do, and battles that take either too long, even with a 2-minute timer, they are random too, or there's too many enemies you cannot run from and they just gang up on you. And my god, everything just takes forever! I cannot stress how cool this vibe is. It's a huge city-like area. It reminds me of that level from 13-2. But come on! I need something for the gameplay to be playable! You know what? Maybe it's time for those guys again. As yep, a Final Fantasy game. Oh, yeah, I'm in the mood for that. What's that? It's a game that just focuses on the bird?
Forget it all and we can all live in peace!
Well, this should be fun. Now, I won't spend too much time on this since it did get ported to the Switch a few years ago. Oh god, 5 years ago is a few years ago! It's actually part of the Mystery Dungeon series, which I didn't know was its own thing, and that Pokemon was a collaboration with it. Yeah, I thought these bozos invented that genre. But no, it's a super long-running series, and Chocobo even had an early iteration on it, but in 2007 they released Final Fantasy Fables, Chocobos Dungeon, where this game was made to appeal to small children and female players. Ah, but I wanted to play it! It actually was a DS game that jumped development to the Wii since that was the shiny new thing. Then they ported it again to the DS after it finished with new content. Oh, Square Enix.
Can't you go 5 seconds without humiliating yourself?
It also starts with a nameless Chocobo and oh god, what is that? And you can use the Wiimote sideways or longways. But no time for the classic way. I want all the zany Wiimote schemes in this video.
Could we be in a mysterious dungeon?
Why? How on the nose. So yeah, if you're familiar with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, it's that, but with a Final Fantasy Code of Pain. You move and the enemy moves at the same time on these grids in dungeon floors, and you work your way down, picking up items, you heal as you move, and you press A to attack, with diagonal movement too. And you know they were worried people would be mad at a diagonal movement on a D-pad, so you can press a button to go into diagonal movement mode. And we and Sid find the treasure at the end of the dungeon. Where we get teleported to this town, and it seems like someone's making people forget things. And then this egg falls from the sky and a baby hatches. And now we gotta go inside people's memories to make them remember things, being the dungeon crawling levels. And I gotta say, I actually think I wouldn't mind playing more of this. The Mystery Dungeon formula is so addicting. However, oh god, would I not want to play the Wii Remote version. So I think if you probably enjoyed what you see here, you should just play the Switch one, since there's no motion controls needed at all. But come on, man! I thought all of these RPGs at least would use the motion controls some more. Barely any of them actually use it. So to shake things up, it's finally the first Western RPG on the list. It's very weird. Yes, before the Wii, most Western developers were making motion control games for it, but also nothing that would be challenging to the average gamer. You know, Rayman, Raving Rabbids kind of thing. Because you know what's very challenging? Oh man, that turn-based JRPG gameplay. You think Grandma Bowler here is gonna play the Wii to date the redhead? Why, I wish her well and hope the game doesn't glitch on her like it did for me. So one of the only RPGs on the Wii is Monster Lab, which was released on the Wii, PlayStation 2, and DS, with the Wii version nominated for IGN's Best RPG award, only losing to the Bird game. Released in 2008, it was described as Pokemon meets Tim Burton. Yeah, that is sure accurate. Where you're a mad scientist assistant and you gotta stop rampaging monsters in the streets, where you then have to Frankenstein your own monster. And you better believe the nunchuck is required. Nunchuck? I hardly knew her! Where you wander around a board and fight enemies, where you then have to pick moves based on your limbs to then attack and break the enemy's one, while managing its stamina, which you can then stand still to recharge or dodge for a little extra battery. So it is actually turn-based in that you pick moves, and it's like rock, paper, scissors where you have to hope when you're charging, the enemy is not going to attack you. You then win when the torso is gone, and you get these parts you pick up that you can combine to make your own creation.
He's killed me.
And you can craft more pieces by doing these mini games where you have to hold B and guide the blowtorch on these gaps. Then you fix your robot in the field where you got to crank the Wii remote. And even the simple task of you picking moves is you using the motion controls. It has side quests and so many parts to find with full voice acting in that 2000s cartoon way.
To the well, don't try!
It is incredibly fun and shows to me, man, they really needed some more Western RPGs on this console. I mean, only they would be crazy enough to make multiplayer RPGs on the Wii. Yes, this had multiplayer. So you know who else is Western? Disney. Wait, Disney? RPG? Why the heck are they here? So y'all remember Spectrobes, right? It was that super big Pokemon killer that killed itself before the Mayans even did.
Oh no, he didn't.
Oh no, seriously, on the DS, the first game sold well, and it was made by Jupiter, who developed the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and then the third entry was developed by Genki, and it was their last game they made in 2009. Till 2025, they are coming back with a racing game? What are they doing all this time? So yeah, it's published by Disney, using the brand to help push this game onto the Wii, and as someone who literally knows nothing about the franchise apart from it being a Pokemon-type clone, oh, this should be good. Oh god, the eyes!
Coming on Sector W now.
What's the W for? Whole lot of nothing? Commander must have got some bad intel.
Won't hear me complaining.
Man, this really feels like a Sonic game. So Rowland and Gino work for some company in space and set out to fight something, but get sucked into this planet's gravity, where the Crawl are the evil things, and the Spectrobes are like Pokemon they can use and summon with their armband. But they can't use their normal ones here.
Huh, that's weird.
It's so weird.
Wow, weird and strange RPGs, huh?
Let's do this!
Did they market the Japanese line as a catchphrase? Oh, please tell me kids are running around screaming this at school. So yeah, the game does not explain to you what Spectrobes are, the lore, or anything. But it is a kid's game, it's pretty easy to understand. We have these zones connected to each other, you don't run fast, it's got the makings of a 2000 JRPG, alright? And you have two forms of Spectrobes. Adults, which they will come at when you find these random enemy spawns, and to attack you mash A, then you can swing the Wii remote to shoot your Spectrobe to attack that enemy. It isn't that great because when you do that, you're standing still and then you get hit. There's no dodge or jump, and even later on, I got this spear weapon which winds up to attack and... Leave me alone! Your Spectrobes have health, and if they die, the next one will just come out, and if they are all dead, you then take more damage on each hit. And that's pretty much it at the start. Then you got the other type of Spectrobes when you're running around without enemies. You can shake the Wii remote to have them find treasure for you.
Go.
But yes, as a Wii game, oh lordy, the loading! And even longer because I got this physically. I love no SSDs! And it was even funny because I fought some enemies into a loading zone, so it's like, oh great, I gotta load back in again. And the game goes, save these people of the planet. Oh, then visit their town. Then visit the chief. Then he tells you to run here, get something for him, then go to this cave. Oh, the bridge is out to the cave. Okay, you gotta find the bridge mechanic. Oh, his assistant is missing. Find the assistant. It's that very early JRPG type of running around to pad things out. And then to get more Spectrobes, you can't catch them in the wild. Oh no, you find fossils, where you then have to use full motion gameplay, scanning them, using lasers, hammers, bombs to excavate them. Yes, you get the fossils to then use them to fight. Wait, so fossil fighters copied them? It is neat, if a little tedious. And then you get rhythm minigame. The art style of Spectrobes are cool, but the NPCs not really with the big eyes. But I do love the town, it's very vibrant and unique, but the other bits were just open plains with nothing really to see. I think it's a very neat game if you were younger when this came out, because it didn't do that well as the formula was wearing thin. Even Pokemon was slowing down in sales around 2009. So this actually was the last game in the franchise. What a way to go out. I do hear a lot of people have fond memories of it, and yeah, in my big Pokemon phase back then, I probably would have loved this on the Wii in 2009. And at least it has some motion controls, which I cannot say half of these games even have. And with that, we now finish the video, so if you'll excuse me, I got some more important things to do. Now, how can I get her autograph?
You have forgotten one game.
What? No, get out of here.
The one you're holding in your hands.
Huh? But there's no game. Oh god, why is that here? Square Enix, you really did try on this console. While other companies didn't want to put their RPGs on the Wii machine, I'll give them props. Square Enix has the most of that genre on the console, and Final Fantasy was no exception, with human leads this time, and it released 1 month before FF13 in Japan. Just send the thing out to die, why don't you? So Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is a subset of the main series, with the big notable one on the GameCube having cooperative control. But now on the Wii we got Crystal Bearers, showing off that they wanted to make a single player game in that series, but using all the motion controls because this was the target demographic. Grandma is gonna get a Final Fantasy! So we follow bodyguards for hire, Kais and Lael, a man with a crystal he is bearing on his cheek. Wait, so we're some kind of crystal bearer? Where these giant birds attack our escort, and Lael is the coolest bro around.
Crystal bearer!
And it's a machine gun? Motion controls? Call of Duty! So yep, this ship has Jagrin, definitely not evil, and...
There it is.
Cringe. Someone saw.
Huh. You know, I wish there was subtitles in these cutscenes. You can pause the cutscenes!
Whoa, what's gonna pop out now?
So this incredibly cool design character called Goldenrod has this crystal idol which absorbs the energy from the ship, and they leave, and now the ship with no power, it's going down! And Jagrin is like,
time to abandon ship.
But Lael, the cool guy, goes, nope, I'm flying this ship. And oh my god, we have to steer it!
This looks fun, thrilling even.
I don't have a license for this!
Keep going, you're good.
Body, hold on tight.
What are you doing now?
Another happy landing.
So we land in Case is the money contract guy, and we is the console I'm talking about. But we don't have any goal. Just run around the city where no NPCs you're able to talk to, but you can, however. Finally, actual practical use of the Wii mode. Public Assault. Yes, as you'll see, Lael has psycho powers. Psycho? And that's me. He has psychic powers due to being a crystal bearer. It actually is a bad thing, like, ew. He's weird, and people either call him crystal bearer derogatory or crystal bearer friend. And yeah, you point the Wiimote on the screen with this pointer, and you can pick up objects and people to fling around or carry with you. Pressing 2 also takes a picture, which is crazy, and more so because, as with other games I've seen on this console, they probably added that in because they couldn't find anything else to put on number 2. And this game, to make it even more funny, it has Simpsons hit and run physics. Like, the physics is everywhere. I'm on this train where it's moving in the world and people just bump around and I lose coins like I'm Sonic Blue Man. It leads to so many hilarious moments. So we have to chase after this ferret for this girl, and using our powers gets us in trouble since it's against the law. But also that photographer Belle is on the run for taking pics the government didn't want you to see. And so we escape with an Assassin's Creed chase sequence. Oh, right, yeah, targeting the bigger market. It always works out for you, huh, Square? You learned your lesson about that, So you're on rails where you have to fling the chasing guards while also pulling down rubble.
Helen, fall down! What? Really? It really fell?
But you crash over a ledge.
Oh, wait! I take it back. It wasn't cold, it was brilliant. I would have never thought of using a chocobo like that. Crystal Bearers rule! Hey! What's the deal? I can't believe this. You're just gonna leave me? All alone? I'm gonna die here! Crystal Bearer?
It would be safer and easier if I go first than pull you up, just like I did now. Are you mad?
Yes, I'm mad.
I don't even need to look up if people ship them. Why is that a thing? So yeah, now we get gameplay where in each area has nothing really in it apart from these treasure chests where you get coins. Then you find these evil miasma portals where enemies spawn, and you may have noticed Lale doesn't have a gun. Well, he did, but his weapons are his powers. Where this actual gameplay in a Final Fantasy game has you flinging the Wii remote, where you pick enemies up to knock them into each other, throw things at them to damage them, and once you've done enough, you can close the gate. Yep, that's the whole combat for the entire game. I will give them praise, they made the enemies very unique with such creative ways to finish them off. Like you got the bone guys, you knock the head off, then they can't see, and then the dogs will get attracted to their bones. Or you see these bugs, you can combine them together, or some enemies when you pick them up and you can press B to have them shoot stuff out to attack the other ones. There are many ways to actually defeat the monsters in combat, which is really cool. Just wish my arm didn't hurt doing this.
I think we'd both benefit if you went on a diet. No offense.
How dare you say that to a slender beauty like me?
Oh man, people really like Belle. This is so funny looking at this now. So you find this temple where you learn how this land has 4 tribes, and you got some platforming where you move to ledges and you press A to auto jump, as there's no actual jump button. Other times you then use your powers to grapple onto higher ledges. The game also does have this lore thing in areas where instead of having text in menus, they wanted to minimize all that and then have it distract you like it's a mobile game on the bottom of the screen. I'm not zoomer enough to focus on that, so I often just missed it unless I was standing still. But we meet Goldenrod again, and Kais comes in to help us. As Goldenrod shoots their power, they absorb it into their crystal into this huge one, and then they leave the empty shell with us. As we escape back into the overworld where Belle runs off, secretly having found another one of those absorbing crystals. Now once you fight monsters in a zone and close the portal up, you get the inhabitants back. But I didn't know this, after a time, the enemy zone reappears. If you wait long enough, you can fight them again. So when you just want to explore, enemies will appear. Or when you want to grind, they might not even be here. Well, we go to meet Sid in this place, where? This is how I feel people are gonna act in 2025.
I want to do some kicking!
So we meet
No
Sid.
worries. I needed to ask you something anyway, Sid. Or should I say Professor Sid, Chief Engineer of Lilty and Crystal Reactor Development.
Yeah, you could have written that in a more seamless way. So yeah, running around you found these cows, and if you knock them over... What was that? Milk? And then I learned if you take too long in the miasma, it actually goes away. So you lose your chance to get a health upgrade because that's the only way to get it when you close these things for the first time. After an invisible amount of time, it just disappears, and then you have to wait for an imaginary amount of time to fight it again. How can we players stand this? We want to relax while our arms hurt. Don't make it more stressful trying to beat monsters with an invisible time limit.
Is this a joke?
I wish it was a joke.
But hearing that, of course, they put a fishing minigame. So yeah, this game has a lot of minigames where you can do things like finding kids who are playing hide and seek. Okay, see ya! Or race people to pick these grapes, or race chocobos, which was so fun because this guy was clearly cheating. But haha, I cheated games better! And you get medals for it. What do they do? Nothing? No, they give you a sense of pride and accomplishment. I guess Square was mad that the Wii didn't have trophy support. So after a bit you find Goldenrod again and give chase using a lot of motion controls. Then you go into this world where they summon Bahamut, and you have to fight by finding swords on the ground to fling at it.
Wahoo!
And then you go to find Belle, which involves her hideout place, where I swear I am not doing this tightrope properly. Aren't you meant to like latch onto the thing? Why can I fall off? It's so dangerous. Get off, kid. There's no room for both of us. And then we find Belle, where she's getting bullied by these other girls to get off the beach. And so to see who will stay on the beach, they have... and then you have to help save her with your magic powers, using it secretly to make sure no one knows that you're helping them. Americans sure love this!
It's the paper from before.
Hey, wait a minute.
Devastation.
Then you have to get back to the main city as you cannot fast travel yet, and also you run incredibly slow. And now you have to do a mini game where you waggle the Wii remote to get around the guards, where you get points for doing things. Like there was this kid that was playing with his ball. You meant to distract the guards, so naturally you think to throw the ball. I throw the kid, lose some points, and then later in the train, he dobs me in. Then you leave, and I get stuck because I need to get into the castle. Oh, this door is locked. Pressing A doesn't open the door. So I go the other way, defeat all these enemies, and this Moogle is the only guard you have in the game. He's like, wrong way, buddy. As if you cannot talk to any NPCs, just chuck them. So you're always lost because no one tells you where to go. And the only map you have, that's not a map. I think for the minimalist UI design, you kind of have forgotten one thing. We players need more help! As it turns out, the door that I pressed A on, I had to use motion controls to open it. Then you have some accessories that you can equip to get some small stat boosts, but you could also waste all your valuable money to buy emblems that you put on your back. It's like to advertise? I don't know. Also, I wasn't really vibing with the music. I'm losing money while doing so. Then I learned to slightly increase your running speed. You shake the Wii remote. And then Lale may randomly dodge, and this is faster, but he only does it when he feels like it, so you can be waggling the Wii remote non-stop, and only sometimes he will dodge. There's no perfection to doing this. I even watched a speed run to see if they had an optimal strategy and were always dodging. It seemed to be in some time, but I couldn't work it out. And then it turns out you can finally get some Chocobos, where if you dismount to say pick up some chest or talk to the Moogle or anything, they run away. So you have to find them again. Then I sit down wondering where to go. I'm lost. I'm looking up a guide, and it's trash day here, and all these Moogles are picking up trash, and they think I'm trash. Now what? No, seriously. How do I get out? There's nothing. I tried everything. But buddy, I know you have access to that lever. Pull it. Let me drop down below. Just get me out of here. Oh man, I'm stuck in here forever. You're complicit in this too, lady. And after 10 actual minutes, it was like a sunk cost fallacy. The Moogles kept getting more and more trash. Surely it would fill up and then they would have to pull the lever to clear it to get more. I can't reload my save file now. I'm in this too deep. I pull the camera up and I can see I can grapple out. I have to stress, this camera is horrendous that it constantly aims at Lale's ass, which isn't good for gameplay, because you always miss what's above you. Like Bahamut, you have to look up to throw the swords in combat, and have you pressed up on the Wii remote recently? It's a really hard thing to actually do. Yeah, I feel like it too, Lale. I cannot tell you the smile I had in the intro seeing these types of characters we were getting. Cool main character, in-your-face main girl. But then the more I played, the more disappointed I felt. I honestly think if this didn't have motion controls or just a faster running speed, I could think this was a good game for me. It was so close. Or hear me out, just add a talking mascot to run with you. Or something like Hope and Lightning Returns to talk to you. It just felt so empty. Where you're running this slow, there's no NPCs to talk to, Lale doesn't mention anything, and the music I was not vibing with, and even you press the 2 buttons to take snapshots. Do you really think Wii players were doing that? Where, I don't know, maybe they could have brought up an actual map, you know, an actual one? Just some small fixes that really could have made me love this game. Because for now...
It's a negatory.
And with that, I'm finally done with Wii RPGs for this video. Freedom! So in conclusion, what did we learn? Oh man, does it hurt to play Wii games for long? I went into this video not knowing much, and it was a roller coaster, a learning experience. There's now a clear distinction in my life where there was a time before I knew Opoona, and a time where I'm now very well aware of Opoona. A lot of Wii games cater to the growing market of everyday people playing video games, and catering to very old people too. Games to bring them into these franchises by which they had to soften up the darker tones, the harder tactical gameplay is gone, and dumbing down series staples to entice new people. people, but I feel that alienated a lot of fans from those series. There are so many franchises I didn't even know had exclusive Wii games. Only a handful of RPGs then actually did what was best use of the system. And then if you see the more well-known successful RPGs don't really use motion controls that much. And even then, if they do use the motion controls, it's barely a thought, or they have ports of the game onto consoles without it, so it proves to you they didn't really need the motion controls anyway. It was just a gimmick for these games. Only a handful actually implemented the motion around the game. Possibly they were done early in the Wii's lifespan before they actually realized any game longer than 5 hours using motion controls non-stop would be painful. It really did open my eyes, because for the longest time I assumed there was nothing like this genre on the Wii. I thought the more powerful consoles had that genre locked down, but no, it was surprising and enlightening to know about these games now. And I'm glad I tried this type of video, because you know what? My thing is to usually beat games on this channel to tell you the whole story, and my original plan was to beat all of these games. Do you know how long that would have taken? While also forcing myself through games I wasn't enjoying? So this is the kind of video that's nice to go through these games, not completely, just getting a vibe of them to see which ones I could continue later on. I also would like to do these videos every once in a while, showcasing games like this. There is one idea I really want to do, but I need to do something else before that, so it will take some time, a lot of time. But this was a way to force myself to try out games that I would have never tried before. I hadn't even heard of any of these games till this video, like Opoona. I am a changed man after seeing that. The things I have seen. And I had to get that out of my system for Rise, with people complaining about that dub when there exist worse ones. I promise I won't complain about that type of comments anymore. I get it. Dubs are bad to everyone. I love them. It's fine. It's okay. I'll just complain about other things instead. You see the price of ice cream Milo? 10 years ago, it was $2.50 and now it's $5. Why, that's one whole month of money you could have spent on some e-girl who wouldn't reciprocate. Wait, well, how do I know that? But I didn't mean to insult any of these games if you did enjoy them. I really did try to go in as fresh as possible, picking from a text list of Wii RPGs, writing down what I saw and felt, twisting it into entertaining jokes with references and impeccable timing. In the end, Rise is probably the most impressive to me, and it gives me hope that I actually would enjoy those other well-known Wii RPGs if they had similar style to it. You know, minimal motion controls, because man, playing the Wii sure is a workout. No wonder Granny is living to 100 with this console. And with that knowledge, I am never touching this thing again. My arm still aches square. Why? And that's it for me. Thank you for enjoying my stumbling and suffering through weird Wii RPGs. Hope you at least found some game you never knew about, and don't worry, the next video will be back to full in-depth dives on a single game. In the meantime, I have many other videos on the channel, which you can also subscribe to. It's this neat new feature YouTube is trying. You might like it. And you can also follow me on social media, linked in the description. And until then, I shall see you all on the next video.